Hi everybody, welcome back to the third of our Word tutorials. I'm opening up the screen with the new document, document 1, and we're going to start looking at the tools and the options section. You can see that lots of predetermined items have been ticked by Microsoft in formulating this particular window. But if you go through the various tabs here, you can see that you can modify certain things. For instance, this one here, recently used file list, I always increase that to 9, which is the maximum, and it just gives you a fuller list of suitable for the work that you've been doing. We also changed that to centimeters, and let's have a look at some of the other tabs here. Pretty much something that you wouldn't really want to worry and change, but it just shows you that there are options for you to change them. The next section that I look at is that we are saving these Word files as .doc down here. It doesn't give you much of a chance of changing it to anything else, and probably wouldn't, but on the later versions of Word there are saving files to .docx, DOC, and an X after it as well. If we look at the next tab, which is file locations, you might need to change the first item. That's where the documents are stored, and that will give you an option to either change what the prescribed section is, or you can put it into documents so that everything goes into your user file. When we look at compatibility, there's not much we can change there, and user information just really tags a name if you want to. On security, there's again, you could set a password to open your files. I haven't found a need for that, but obviously you can do in a more secure operation. Spelling and grammar is very useful, and you can change this to grammar and style or grammar only. The custom direct dictionaries are generally I think this one is a UK based one, but you can change it to I think Merriman's is the American version. And another item which would be very useful if you wanted to do lots and lots of typing and lots of documents where there is insertions and deletions and formatting changes, you can do it by different colors. So it's a very useful section of Word, and again, it gives you the opportunity to make changes that suit your type of work that you're doing. We now go on to formatting the page, and you'll see that the standard page that comes, I've slightly changed because I've changed the font to Comic Sans MS and 11 as the font size. I find that's probably easier on the eye, and it's normal. So immediately you start typing on this particular page, you'll see the flashing cursor, and if I say A, B, C, it will give you that in the same type of font that's at the head of the page. You'll also see that it's given us two gutters at the edges of the page. That's just to make it more readable and to give margins so that you can either file or put these into a binding of some description. You can move these particular margins by moving the particular sliders at the top of the page. That will give you the opportunity to indent a particular part of the letter, and also another useful item is to go up to you'll see that at the moment it's aligned to the left, but we can make this central to the letter, and let's just move this one back. That's now central to the two gutters that are available, and you can also set the alignment to the right. This one is justified. If you've got lots and lots of typing, it will justify into two neat margins either side of the page. So let's go back to here and leave that at a line left. There's not much else that you need to change. You'll see on this side of it you've got a header section, and that can be changed by moving this ruler up and down, and at the bottom you'll find that the same thing. So you can make a footer if you wanted within that page. That's pretty much all you would want to do for fairly basic letter writing. So let's have a look at the fonts, and we're going to have a bit of fun with changing the fonts and changing the style. So as I said, my preferred font is Comic Sans, but there are some quite interesting fonts if you click on this particular item on the toolbar. Let's go down and we can have a look at all these different types of fonts, and by moving it up and down you will see that the fonts displayed match the actual font that is going to be on the page. So let's have a bit of fun with Old English text, and if I start typing you'll see that now translates as Old English text at this particular section, but also that's obviously a bit small for this type of font, so let's increase that by, let's double it to make it 22 points, and if we start typing again you'll see now that the actual font is much more readable. If I go on to another line and increase it even further, let's make it 36, you'll now start seeing the full nature and setup of that particular font. I have also been able to change the particular type of font. So at the moment Old English is just got one type of boldness, but at the moment if I go across to bold and I start a new line, you will see that the text becomes much stronger and much more readable, and at the same time, let's just do that again, you'll see there's a difference between that font and the unbolded font. If you wanted to go for italics, you'll see the cursor changes its shape, and now we've got an italic Old English text. Let's go back to my Comic Sans, which is here still, or we can go to Arial. Arial is probably a pretty universal font and is used by a lot of technical and business people. Switch off the italic and switch off the bold, and you will see that it's quite a clear, well proportioned font, even at 36 points as a font size. Now there's some other things we can do with fonts which I will go and look at as far as the colour of the font. So if I wanted to edit, oops, sorry, if I wanted to format this particular thing but I wanted to introduce a colour to it, I would go to this particular window and let's make that now red. So it's going to say that if I start to type in a new line, the font colour should change, At the moment it hasn't done so. I'll go back here again. And you'll see that it takes on the colour that you've decided. This again could be used for emphasis and pointing out particular sections of text to your readers to make them stand out. I think that's pretty much it for this particular part of the tutorial. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and also the little bell icon, and you will receive details of my next video when it is published. I hope you're enjoying this series, and please comment in the area provided for any further clarifications. Thank you very much.